Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be talking about Roe v Wade and the Supreme Court's ruling that basically gives states the ability to strike down the access to abortions. Now, listen, I know we're all upset about this. I know we're all shocked. I know that this is decades worth of precedent of settled law that has just gone down the tubes. And it is a somber day indeed. But I need to also give you a different viewpoint. And that is states that have Republican controlled Congresses, Senates, governments are screwed. They're screwed. Why do you think Cornyn and all of these people came on board and finally, after all these years, many years, sadly, many lives lost, they finally came on board with some basic gun control? It's not enough. Obviously, it's not enough. But they did do something that we could say is unprecedented, right? Why do you think that was? Well, because voters want it. Voters want it. Our voters want it. D voters want it. Guess who wants abortion access? R voters and D voters. These states are screwed. They are now in the hot seat. And it's interesting to me as well, because the reason they're in the hot seat is because we have, and I talked about this in the last video, Spirit talked about this, you have Republican leadership that doesn't represent the Republican Trumper radicals. And it also doesn't represent the more fiscal social policy Republicans. It doesn't, these leadership, they don't have a mandate. They don't have popular support of their own party. And now that party's going to get torn apart even more. Because in these states that are Republican controlled, you have women that are really active in the Republican Party. And women are very serious about having choice. Maybe their idea of choice is more along the lines of for health reasons or in the case of rape, but they want to have a choice. They do not agree with this radical thinking. So this ruling by the Supreme Court is going to further rend the Republican Party. Trust me, it is going to. I did a video about Roe v. Wade when it was leaked, when the memo was leaked, that this was likely how they were going to rule, back on May 3rd. Check it out. It's very prescient. The guides talk about school gun violence. They talk about how these two things are linked, that the Roe v. Wade is somehow linked to this school violence. And here we are with the Republicans having to capitulate, having to work with the Dems to pass some kind of semblance of gun common sense law. Now that is making their base, the Trumpers, really mad. So this is a no-win situation for these Republicans. I'm telling you, it's a no-win situation. You're actually going to see a lot more Republicans step down and retire. This is untenable. They cannot govern when their own constituents are at war with each other. Neither side is being represented by leadership. And leadership continues to capitulate to this side, capitulate to this side. They keep trying to play both sides against the middle, and that's not working anymore. So this ruling by the Supreme Court actually The guides said once, which was hilarious, they said the Republicans are shooting themselves in their own foot, one toe at a time. And that is so apt for now, isn't it? This ruling by the Supreme Court hasn't helped anything. So, okay, they threw a bone to these religious right. But I'm telling you, a lot of the Trumpers are pro-choice. It's a bomb. It's going to blow up the Republican Party. And who's going to be there to catch all the pieces and put it back together? Liz Cheney. This is exactly what she wants. Because this party is not working anymore. It's been hijacked by a bunch of crazy people. And the people in power are like these, like basically let them eat cake. They're so out of touch. So as the Republican Party basically disintegrates, Liz Cheney will be there to either put it back together and lead it, or to sweep up all the pieces into the dustbin and create our own new party. So there's some interesting things behind this. Yes, we're upset. Yes, this is another travesty. It's another injustice. It's another indication of just how far this country has gone off the rails, right? Just another indication, right? We've got Trump, we've got Jan 6, we've learned so many things, and now we've also got this. But I want to tell you that it's not all for naught. These things apparently are necessary because we need to figure out what our priorities are as a country. These school shootings are now becoming a priority of the voters. The voters have changed. They're becoming more engaged and more enraged. You will now see the same thing with Roe V Wade and abortion rights and choice. You will see voters engaged and enraged. So you will see this summer, you will see action being taken on both of those fronts. You will see protests, demonstrations. You will see pressure put on the parties in these states, because you will see women that didn't ever think about having an abortion. Maybe they weren't pro-choice, or they didn't care about pro-choice, or that it just never mattered to them. But now they have a life-threatening pregnancy that they need to end, and they can't. Now, not only is that woman going to become an activist for choice, but her mama is going to become an activist, and her daddy, her sisters, her brothers, her friends, her grandma. This is going to create pro-choice activists, new pro-choice activists. This is not the end of Roe v. Wade. This is the beginning of a new form, a new version. This is the beginning of people expressing, Americans expressing what it is they really want, and being ready to take a stand for it, being ready to fight for it, to protest, to march. Healthcare, better wages, access to safe abortions, safe schools, safe communities. Oh yeah, Americans are fed up. And you know what? They're fed up with these Trumpers. They're fed up with the crazy people, the people that seem to be just out in right field somewhere, that aren't making any sense. They're going to further marginalize those people, push them out of the way. They're going to be pushed out of the Republican Party. They're going to become more and more marginalized. Of course, their leaders are going to be put in jail, which is also going to further marginalize their policies, their politics, their beliefs. And so you're going to see those people start to quiet down. Now, not maybe very soon. This summer is going to be a flashpoint. So the guides are calling it a flashpoint. We're not there yet. This summer is the proving ground, the flashpoint. We will have challenges to our voting. We will have some cities challenge the vote and not want to verify it, not want to honor it, just the way New Mexico tried to not honor their vote just recently until the courts got involved. So you're going to be seeing that. On top of that, you're going to be seeing, it's as if people are waking up and they're all mad about something different. So you've got these Republicans that are mad at the Trumpers. They're mad that their party has gone too far to one side. What happened to just being fiscal conservatives? Why did we get taken over by these people that have such volatile and just divisive ideas? That's not us. We don't want to become Democrats, but we have to because we can't be in this party anymore. They are going to be mad. You're going to find strange bedfellows. You're going to have Republicans marching in pro-choice marches along with Democrats. Strange bedfellows. You're going to have people waking up that are the younger voters, the 24-year-olds, the 22-year-olds. They may not have ever really felt like their voice counted. They may have felt like they've been marginalized themselves. But now, these things are too important and they have to do something. They need the choice over their own bodies, over their own lives, over becoming parents. And they also care about this gun problem. Many of them have had active shooter drills their entire lives. They understand the gravity of the situation. And it's becoming more and more and more that there's 6 degrees of someone that knows someone that was in a shooting, either a school shooting or a synagogue shooting or a grocery store or a Walmart shooting or a movie theater shooting or a bar shooting. So more and more, we know someone who knows someone. It's becoming more real. So this is a wake-up call. And when you're woken up out of a slumber, a really good sleep, and you wake up swinging, or you wake up grumpy, mad, upset, crabby. Well, that's how these people are. They're all mad and upset and crabby because they don't feel like they should be having to deal with this, to be honest with you. They feel like this is like basic 101 human, how to be a human, and they feel like they're having to parent the older generations. They feel like the baby boomers and Gen X and all these other generations have screwed up this country. And now they have to get off their video game and go tell us how to program the remote. Right? They have to tell us, y'all really just effed this place up. So just go sit down and let us fix it. So this is what I see happening. Lots of changes, lots of dissolution of things, dissolving. I see groups dissolving and forming into new separate groups within the group. So you have the Republican Party dissolving, further dissolving, breaking apart. You have school teachers dissolving, breaking apart, maybe having different factions within their professional group. You have healthcare providers. Healthcare providers have been on the front lines during the whole virus crisis. And then they've been on the front lines of the shootings too, the violence. They've been on the front lines of the opioid crisis. And now they're going to be on the front lines of the Roe V Wade abortion crisis, because they're going to be having to tell someone, you're going to have to go out of state to get this abortion. And I strongly advise you do, from a health, as a doctor, it's in your best interest, the health of your body, to not carry this baby. And I can't help you. That's against their own oath. Do no harm. Is it harmful to send this person to drive 3 or 4 or 6 hours away? Or fly? Yeah, it could be. So you have now nurses and doctors having to, again, do something that doesn't match their own oath. Dissolution, breaking apart. I see breaking apart among the police departments. There are officers, of course, that maybe think it's great that everybody has an AK-47 or an AR-15 or a gun that can shoot, 100 rounds. But there are many more that think this is unsafe. It's unsafe for them because they don't know who's armed and who isn't. They're constantly walking into very heated situations, domestic violence, fights. They don't know who's got a gun. And they don't know who's got a gun that could pierce their own armor. Their bulletproof vest may be useless. That's their world now. So I think you're going to see increasing pressure from police to their unions to stand up and to support more gun regulations. Surprising, right? All of this is surprising. And this is the flashpoint that's potential for this summer. On top of that, there's more. On top of that, when we get to our midterms, Spirit has said there could be 6 cities, maybe 8, that don't certify their votes. Could even be actual states that don't certify their votes, that refuse, just like New Mexico. Now, when you have unprecedented, did I tell you that part? Because I don't think I did. There's going to be unprecedented voters, unprecedented numbers of voters. I'm not talking about Republicans. I'm talking about young people who are voting D. Now, they may not be Democrats, again, but right now they're issue voters. And they're going to vote. And the Republicans are issue voters. And they're going to vote. So you have unprecedented polling that shows that the Democrats are going to do very well. You have unprecedented numbers of voters showing up. And then you have the Republican-led government saying they're not going to quantify, they're not going to verify, sanctify that vote just because they have suspicions but no evidence. Well, guess what? All those people who voted, they're now going to be in the street. They're going to be in the streets protesting, marching. And they're going to be making their voices heard. And then we're going to have civil unrest. Now, I'm telling you this because I think there's a very, very strong possibility of this. I can't tell you it's 100%, but I can tell you that it's at least 75%, maybe even 80%. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a long, hot summer with a lot of angry, crabby people that feel like they've all had their rights taken away from every camp, from the Trumpers to the fiscal Republicans to the middle of the road Democrats to the liberal Democrats. Everybody's going to feel upset. The Democrats are going to be upset because they didn't get the indictments that they wanted. The Republicans are going to be upset because the indictments did come, right? We are going to indict Republicans. We may not get them on the charges we want. We may not get them to have the punishment that we want, but we are going to take them down. Just remember the word RICO. Remember RICO. And I did a video, I need to go watch it. I did a video after Jan 6, a year ago, that says Rico is his name-o. So I think the guides already talked about this a long time ago. But they're talking about it again now. They've just been talking about it today. RICO, 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 RICO. So it must be that they're going to go after them on RICO laws. So this is what's going down. It's a lot. It's a lot. But we have to do it because once these 24, and I'm not picking on 24-year-olds, but once these younger people find out that they can lose their access to birth control, something like birth control, like should just be like having access to water, right? Once they learn that they could lose their access to birth control and abortion, game over. They're going to be engaged and enraged. So they're going to get busy. So this summer, because you and I have voted always, we've already been engaged and enraged. I mean, I've changed my hair color 3 times in 6 months, right? I mean, what is going on? So let's just take a break because this summer is going to be like a roller coaster. Up and down and up and down. High highs and low lows. I don't know about you, but I don't love roller coasters, especially when it's my nerve endings that are going to be flying on those high highs and low lows. So a good thing for you to do would be to disengage. Disengage. The Republicans are going to be busy throwing each other under the truck, under the bus. The kids are going to get in the streets and get busy registering each other to vote. There's going to be a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. It might be a good idea for you to take a little time and disconnect. Take good care of yourself. Build yourself up. It's sort of like you're working out to run the marathon. Well, this is that time. You need to sort of take care of your body so you're ready this fall when we really need you on those front lines. There's nothing to be done right now. Nothing. I mean, eating a lot of popcorn and watching the circus that's going to be the Republican Party. That's going to be fun. But try not to ride those highs and lows. Try to just keep your energy, a little bit more balanced so that when September comes, when August comes, you're feeling rested up. You're feeling ready to go. You took some time off. You pampered yourself. You took care of yourself. If you spend between now and November mad about Roe, you're going to be tired, worn out, and not nearly as effective in November. That's not what we need. We want you to be fresh and renewed and ready to go. So take some time off. This is all happening for a reason. Everything has to break down for whatever reason. Everything has to break down. The Supreme Court will break down. Our healthcare system is going to break down. Our law enforcement is going to break down. The Republican Party is going to break down. I think the Democratic Party has an opportunity to really oust some of those older people and bring in a lot of younger people. We may have term limits come in. That would be a way for the Democratic Party also to go through some major changes. This is all coming. This is all what is in store for us. Now, I will say this. I've seen how this movie ends, and it ends okay. We're all okay. We make it. Spoiler alert, we make it. By the fall, by December, things are much calmer. Things have sort of settled into a new kind of energy or a new normal. And we're good with that. We're happy for that sort of continuity. Okay? So then we kind of keep that. It's sort of a low boil. It's not the roller coaster. It's more like a low boil. We keep that until the next presidential election, at which point we have more choices to make. Then we have another challenge because we didn't really fix it all. We're kind of fixing it half-ass. So that leaves some doors open for people like DeSantis, Cheney, other people to come in and try to take power over again in the next presidential election. So we're going to go through a really crazy summer. Things are going to calm down a bit. We're kind of muddle through is probably the right word. Muddle through. It's not great. It's not bad. We're muddling through. Then we have another challenge around the next presidential election. But this next 3 months, it's June, July, August, September. However many months we have between now and November, shock and awe, smash and grab. It's going to be, I promise you, whatever you think is crazy right now, you need to strap on some Depends or, whatever you got to do. Because it's going to get even crazier. Really and truly. Big shakeups. Big arrest. Big shakedowns. The Supreme Court's going to go through shakeups. We should be losing at least two justices. For various reasons. Biden is going to be pressed to take new. Biden already is not happy with Garland. It's been leaked. He's not happy with Garland. Biden is going to be pressed to really take for him what he considers to be radical steps. Remember, he's the institutionalist. He doesn't like doing anything that's out of precedent, right? He doesn't want to be the radical president, but this is what this time is asking of him. I think Spirit put in an institutionalist president that is very loath to do something radical so that the radical steps that are taken are baby steps. Because if we had somebody like Trump in here that is radical, period, the radical steps he would take would be giant. The radical steps but also just the energy is going to push Biden to take, he will make them much more manageable, much smaller. But he is going to have to do it. we're going to see some very big upsets, some very big surprises, maybe to do with Garland, maybe to do with Ray, perhaps to do with Lindsey Graham and McConnell. We may even see some things that implicate pillars of business, the Koch brothers, also Fox News. I see Murdoch either stepping down or crossing over within the year, more than likely within the year. I think Fox News, again, it's the same thing, right? Dissolution. Fox News is going to have to change. Just like the healthcare, the teachers, the police, everything. All of these institutions, the Supreme Court, it all has to change. And I mean, I'm using the word has to, not should or maybe. I'm using a very finite word, has to change. Now again, whether it changes this much or this much depends on us, right? Just like they just said, if we don't deal with it all the way, we're going to have to deal with it again, probably around the next presidential election. If we only, and this is where I think Garland is screwing up. I think Garland wants to put a Band-Aid on it. I think Garland got a view of just how broad the grift is, how spread out across our political landscape, and also our capitalistic, our corporate landscape. I think he got a view, and I think that he thinks, there is no way that I'm implicating all of these people. There's no way. But yet, the string is attached to all these people. So you can't really start with Trump and just take Trump out without following all these, without the dominoes, without everybody else being taken down. So this is what I think is happening with Garland. I think he doesn't want, for a lot of reasons, folks, not just because he's an institutionalist too, but also because it's too unwieldy. He doesn't know how to handle it from a law standpoint. It's not clean and tidy, and it's huge and rambling and overwhelming, and he's getting overwhelmed in the details and the minutia. Look how Benny Thompson with Jan 6 has just zeroed in on Trump. Not paying attention to all these other things. There are so many things that he could be paying attention to. Nope, zeroing in on Trump. Garland's not doing that. Garland has gotten mission creep. And what he has seen has scared the life out of him. And he doesn't know what to do. So that's going to be interesting. So there's lots of changes, lots and lots of shock coming. I think it very well may be the end of the Republican Party. I really do. I don't know how the Republican Party can rebrand or rebuild itself with what is coming. But we'll see. I mean, they're not that picky. They're not that picky about who they associate with, right? So maybe they'll just kick a few of them out and put lipstick on the pig on the rest of them and call it done. Listen, I hope this has been helpful. I do these things to help you. To forewarn is forearmed, right? Let me know what you think in the comments. Watch that first Roe v Wade video. It's very interesting. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. But you can go to my channel and just search Roe and it pops up. It's the only one that has that title, Roe v Wade. It's pretty interesting to see what the guides were talking about then, because Well, a lot of it is played out now. So listen, you guys take really good care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon. See you later.